views and opinions expressed in this show are of the host and not of Lady J Media. Thank you and enjoy the show. Hey, my name is Lady J, and I'm the owner of LadyJMedia, Buddafly Entertainment. Now, don't go anywhere because we have some really great shows coming up for you. I'd like to invite you to be a part of LadyJMedia. If you want to have a show, let me know. My number is 443-297-4753, or you can email me at ladyjwub@gmail.com. That's ladyjwub@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow that butterfly because you never know where she's going to land. Thank you for joining Mental Wellness Coaching with DWendell. Your session begins right now.
Good afternoon. Welcome to this segment as we talk about mental wellness. Mental wellness. Today, for a topic, I've chosen the brain. We are discussing the brain. Do you realize that the thoughts you have occupy a space in your mind? They occupy a space in your brain. They have a real life to them. I've heard it said that our life is what our thoughts make it. Our life is what our thoughts make it. We must understand that the brain is not an input-output machine. You are not an input-output machine. You are not a computer mirroring the outside world. Your brain is designed to respond. Again, your brain is designed to respond to your mind. You are intrinsically and brilliantly designed in the sense that your brain carries out the will of the spirit and the soul. We are not, how do we say this? We are not victims of our biology or our circumstances. We hear so frequently, well, I was born that way. It's on my, let me adjust this, please. I was born that way. It's on my DNA. We are not that. How we react to events and circumstances of life, how we react to them can have an enormous impact on our mental and physical health. How do you react? See, sometimes we're so used to reacting in specific ways that we automatically begin to think that way. We automatically react that way. It's like putting in a cassette tape. What I'm saying to you this afternoon is that you can change that. How we react to the events and circumstances of life, as I said before, has an enormous impact on our mental and physical health. You see my numbers streaming across the screen with my email. We'll talk more about that later, but I want you to know that I'm reachable. As your brain thinks, we change the physical nature of our brain. As we consciously direct our thinking, understand, hear what I said, as we deliberately direct our thinking, we can wire out the toxic patterns of the thinking that we have and replace them with healthy thoughts. Allow me to say that again, please. As we consciously direct our thinking, we can wire out, we can think out the toxic patterns of our thinking. And when I say toxic thinking, allow me to ask you this. When you think about what the things you've been thinking about, the sum total of where you are in life, in this life, is a direct result of how you think, what you think about, what you allow into your space, what you allow to impact you. As I said earlier, we cannot control the circumstances of life. Life happens. Things happen. People do things. Negative people do things. They impact us. The one thing that we can't control is how we react to that circumstance, how we react to the thing that somebody does. I've been in practice over 30 years, and I've had people say to me, Mr. Smith, Mr. Wendell, I don't know how I did a particular thing. I don't know how I hurt someone. I don't know how I did this or did that. And it is a result of our thinking. As you think, you behave. As you think, you act. And that is what we're talking about today. That's what we're looking and letting you know you can switch. You can control your thinking. We can again, as I said before, you wire out the toxic patterns and thoughts, and replace them with healthy thoughts. Replace them with life-giving thoughts. New networks grow. Did you not know when you go to sleep at night? That's why rest is so very important to our existence. When you rest in the evening, the brain rejuvenates and rewires itself. New new neurons are created in our brain. So resting, there are principles and laws that we need to govern ourselves by that 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 will help us rejuvenate. I've found that sometimes it's so hard for us to change the thought pattern, so hard for us to think along new lines or to do different things. There is a way. There's a way to do that. Again, when we change our thought patterns, look at this: the brain, we increase our intelligence and bring healing to our brain, minds, and physical bodies. The thought that what you think about can have a negative impact, negative influence on your body. We'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about that later on. I want you to know this afternoon that you are free. You're free to make choices about how you focus your attention. Think about this. You have the ability to think about what you're thinking about, to step aside from yourself and look at what are you thinking about? What are your thoughts? We know as a principle of life, two things cannot occupy the same space at the same time. If you're having one thought, then another thought can't come in and coexist with that. So because we change our thoughts, then we have the ability, excuse me, we have the ability to change our outcomes. And this, when you change your thoughts, when you look at what you're focusing on, this affects how the chemicals and proteins uh, uh, function in the brain. And wiring of your brain, the wiring of your brain changes. Again, when you change the thought process, then you change the wiring of the brain. And that wiring of the brain changes the brain's function. Scientists, I think this is important. Scientists are proving, scientists, there's an expression that they just follow the science, follow the science. We can speak more about that as time goes on. But scientists are proving that the relationship between what you think and how you understand yourself, your beliefs, your dreams, your hopes and thoughts has a large impact on how your brain works. Who would have thought? Who would think that what we think about impacts how we feel, impacts our hopes and what we believe, it impacts our dreams and what we think we can accomplish, all from the thoughts, all from the brain activity. Allow me to share this with you. Another research fact. Research shows that 75 to 98% of mental, physical, and behavioral illness comes from our thought life. Let me share that with you again, please. Research, science shows, it's demonstrated, it's measured, they can see it, shows that 75 to 98% of all mental, physical, and behavioral illness comes from our thought life. Wow. Wow. This staggering and eye-opening statistic, this statistic means only 2 to 25% of mental and physical illnesses come from environmental and genes. Your genes, your environment only causes 2 to 25% of your illnesses. We have to come to a point, and this program that we're doing, this 4-week brain detox program that I'm introducing, helps you or directs you or teaches you how to change the thought processes. Our thoughts produce words and behaviors, which in turn stimulate more thinking and choices that build more thoughts in an endless cycle. Let me say that again. Our thoughts produce words and behaviors. Every behavior that you have, every act begins as a thought. When I decide I want to get up from this chair, it's a thought first. And the brain tells the body what to do. So to change the thought process is to change our behaviors. And it's to improve our thinking. Think about that for a second. Think about that for a second. We are constantly, you and I, we are constantly reacting to circumstances. Think about it for a second. We constantly always react to circumstances and events. And as this cycle goes on, reacting to circumstances and events and what people say, our brains become shaped by the process. Let me say that again. We are constantly reacting to circumstances and events. And again, And this cycle goes on. Our brains become shaped by the process. Listen to this. In either a positive, good quality of life direction or a negative, toxic, poor quality of life direction. You wonder sometimes why you're feeling bad, why you may be dealing with depression or OCD or post traumatic stress or various other mental illnesses, as they call them. Illnesses, as they call them. You're reacting that way because of what you're thinking about the circumstance, what you're thinking about yourself. So it is the quality of our thinking, the quality of our thinking and choices, and our reactions that determines our brain architecture. Allow me to say that once again, please. It is the quality of our thinking and choices and our reactions that determine our brain architecture. The shape, the shape or design of the brain and the resultant quality of the health of our minds and body. The health of our minds and body, the shape and design of our brain comes from what we're thinking about, our thoughts. That determines the quality of our minds and our bodies. Understand, if you can, or as you can, the hardest part about achieving peak happiness. You want to be happy, I'm sure you do. Would it surprise you to know that happiness first comes from within and then it's outside? The way we think often twists that around. I feel this way, or I think I'm this way, therefore I must be. That's going from the outside in. The way happiness, the way quality of life works, is from the inside out. Happiness, as I said, thinking, and health is remembering. Understand, the most difficult, the hardest part about achieving peak happiness, peak thinking, and health is remembering that we can choose them. You have the power of choice. You have the ability to choose your outcomes. Achieving them is not accomplished. I would like for you to hear me here especially. Achieving these things, achieving happiness, achieving the ability to have good, clear, pure thoughts, and optimum health is remembering again that we can choose them. Achieving them is not accomplished by putting on a brave face. You know, we've become sometimes people have become accustomed to, if I look this way, especially when you look at what we wear or some of the fashions we have and things like that. If I have this on, then indeed I must be okay. I must be happy because I have on this brand or that brand, or I'm wearing a smile on my face. The OJs had a song out some years back. You may not remember it, some of you, but it said, "Smiling faces tell lies. They don't tell the truth." So my point was, it's not this level of thinking and achieving happiness, thinking and health. It's not accomplished by putting on a brave face, nor is it attained or nor is it accomplished by sticking our heads in the sand. If I just don't do the ostrich thought, if I just don't do anything about it, maybe it'll go away. Untreated mental illness, it's not doesn't just go away. You just don't get better. You can take control of your life. You can take your life back. It's a choice. Again, it's not accomplished by putting on a brave face or a happy face, nor is it attained by sticking our heads in the sand, by adopting the ostrich mentality of just hiding from it and pretending that problems don't exist or that everything will always be great. Faulty thinking, faulty thinking, hoping that this just goes away. I don't take control, I don't take charge. That is a fallacy. Let me share this with a fallacy is a lie. You're telling yourself a lie. My grandmother used to have the expression of all the people to lie to, of all the things to lie about, don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. Allow me to say to you, the way to find this state is by harnessing this state of good thoughts, of right thoughts, this thing of happiness and joy and peace. Most of us long for peace in our lives, day to day, just to have a moment of peace, just for my brain to shut down from the thoughts that seem to be flooding it. Thoughts overwhelming. When you look at it, the suicide rate is off the chart. With the pandemic, it's only gotten worse. We can't get along with each other. We can't get along with people. Our fuse, we're running off of a short fuse. And it is from the thoughts that we have, the negative thoughts, the wrong thoughts. And I have said to myself, I've had clients that said to me over the 30 years, if I could just stop thinking about it, if I could just stop trying to figure it out. Again, because the more you think, your body reacts to that. Chemicals are released in the brain that send messages out to the rest of the body. Therefore, sickness comes, illness comes, not feeling well most of the time. It comes. Again, I share with you the way to find this state of being is by harnessing, taking control of the term I'll use is neuroplasticity. What neuroplasticity is, it means your brain can adopt, your brain can adjust. You are not stuck in an endless cycle of bad choices. You're not stuck in an endless method of not being able to work through this thing. But I'm not even, though it all begins in the mind, in the thinking, in the brain. God has designed our brains and choosing to renew our mind. Through this term I use neuroplasticity. Thank you. God has designed our brains to revive and renew. Every day is a new day of choices. Every day is a day that you have the ability. Doesn't matter how far you are. You know, people, just to veer off a little bit, part of the conversation recently in the past has been about breaking generational curses, breaking this thought process that's passed down. Let me let you in on something. It is not on your DNA to repeat what Uncle Bobo did. It is not on your DNA to do what you saw your father, your mother, or whoever, or your community do. That's not on your DNA. It is a choice. Now, do we have propensity to certain things? In other words, do we have a bent or a likelihood of doing certain things because of our birth and what was passed? Yes, we do. We do. But your propensity to do certain things is not based on your DNA. Your propensity, your once you see that this is a bad choice, you have the ability, the God given ability in you now to make a change, to begin to break the cycle. Allow me to tell you, share with you what most of our problems are with regard to mental wellness. Not only mental wellness, but simply achieving goals. We set goals and aspirations every year, every week, every month, but we find ourselves coming up short. There's a reason for that. We say we want to lose 20 pounds, 30 pounds, 40 pounds, whatever. We want to lose weight, but then we quit in the middle of it. We stop. The reason is we do not make the decision that it is a life and not it's a life. It's beyond a choice. It's discipline. I started out 3 weeks ago. I was going to walk. I was going to take 10,000 steps a day. 10,000, which is about 4.5 miles. Started off the first day. I'm walking. Doing good. Going up hills and everything. I'm knocking it out of the park. Knocking it out of the park. Did it for about 3 or 4 days, maybe a week. One day I got up. It was raining. I'm not going today. I'm not going today. And eventually I stopped. And the track was still there. The desire to do it was still there. But I gave up my discipline to do it. I gave up the notion that I wanted to. I didn't feel like it. Oh, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow. It is that discipline that dooms most of us. So I'm inviting you to be a part of a 5-week program. Let me tell you about it a little bit. The 5-week program stretches your brain. It teaches you a new learning process. And at the heart of this program that I lead, the heart of this program is being focused. What you focus on, you become. What are you focusing on? General question. What do you find yourself again thinking about most of the time? Do you think about the wrongs that someone has done to you? The ill-fated circumstances that has come your way. Some things did not work out well for you at all. They did, you don't like the outcome. Someone took an advantage of you or did something to you. And you find your mind, your brain dwells on these things. How can I get them back? How can I make them pay? How dare I suffer this? I don't deserve this, and on and on and on. All negative thoughts. We teach the heart to focus. Be organized. Organize. Do you have a plan for every day? Do you sit down and structure your thoughts? Organize your thoughts. Organize your day. Remember, two things cannot occupy the same space. They can't. If you're thinking good things, if you're thinking right things, if your brain is concentrating on how to improve that, how to improve this, how to uplift that, how you're not this and not that. That creates for you an environment of growth, of your brain growing. We teach you to be organized. We teach you to be disciplined. Disciplined. Stay with the task until it's done. No matter how you feel. You know, so many of us run off a feeling. Oh, I don't feel this way. I don't feel that way. I don't feel like things will turn around in my favor. It does not matter how you feel. Your feelings are least consequential. What matters is the task that's set at hand, the task that's set before you. You must complete the task. If your goal is to lose 5 pounds and you have a diet or an exercise program or whatever the case may be, you have that before you. And you've made the decision that you're going to lose your 4 pounds, 5 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever. You're going to lose it this way. Then stick with your program. That's not to say you can't go back into your program and make different adjustments. Make adjust it up, make a change here, make a change there. You do have the right, the freedom, the liberty to make adjustments. But understand, once you decide you're going to do it, unless it's life threatening, you must complete. Because what happens if you don't complete your program? If you don't complete your program, then at the end of the day, you catch feelings, as people say. You start catching feelings. You catch feelings. Oh, I wish I had. Oh, I could have. I should have. Let that not be a part of your end of the day conversation. Change that. You can change that. Organize, discipline, deep intellectual thinking. Think about things beyond the surface. Take it to the cellular level. Absolutely. Think about these things. Think about how your life, how your day can be different. One of the things we teach along this line with especially with people who are dealing with PTSD or some form of abuse, it is called mindfulness, being in the present. Often we spend so much time thinking about the past, what did happen, what should have happened, how did it happen, why didn't it turn out this way or that way. We spend so much time back in the past, or we spend a lot of time up in the future. This is what I want to happen. Oh, I can see myself doing it. That's futuristic. Well, I'm not equipped, yada, yada, and it goes on and on. We spend so much time between the past and the future, we're not mindful. We're not right here, right now. What is the task? What is it I need to do now? What can I do that would elevate my thinking? Instead of, this is a hard example, instead of drinking a soda, maybe I have a glass of water. Maybe I have a glass of water instead. That helps the body. Instead of just sitting watching TV with the remote, which is a favorite pastime of mine, instead of doing that, maybe I will go out and walk around the block. Because in the long run, even that night, I would have benefited so much more from the walk than from sitting on the couch. I would have benefited so much more from eating the broccoli instead of eating the bag of potato chips. Choices, choices. And again, um, thinking how to break down. We teach you how to break down those toxic thoughts. Yeah, I heard someone say, you cannot decide whether the bird flies over your head. You can't decide that because the bird will fly over your head. That's circumstances. Your power of choice is whether or not you let him build a nest in your head. Power of choosing, getting rid of toxic thoughts. Oh, toxic thoughts that lead to destruction. They lead to destruction. I told you, when we have toxic thoughts, those negative thoughts, those bad thoughts overtake us, and we do things we don't even think about. You saw 2 weeks ago when people made a decision to storm the national the, the house. They decided they were going to take it back, and hundreds of thousands of people, tens of thousands of people out there, and they storm the Capitol. They break windows. They go in. They tear things up. I'm not judging what they did, but I do remember several people who the FBI arrested, or for whatever reason, however, they arrested them, and people were saying, I got caught up in the moment. I got overtaken by my thoughts. I don't know how that happened. I was so a road rage incident. He cut me off or she cut me off, and I lost control of myself. And I had to shoot. I had to hit. Getting caught up in toxic thinking. We teach you. We share with you how to get rid of toxic thoughts and how to build up healthy thoughts. How to build up healthy thoughts. How to recognize that this thought is not leading to anything good. Oh, it's going to make me feel good if I bust them in the head real quick or cuss them out real quick, but it doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do you any. You're not a better person for having done that. So we teach you how to build up healthy thoughts. And in expelling toxic thoughts, building up healthy thoughts, and in doing so, you change your brain in a positive direction. You change your brain in a positive direction. What's it like to have a healthy thought, a good thought, a non-fearful thought? This will result in peak thinking, optimum happiness, and optimum health. That's what this thinking will do. Again, I thank you for listening. I thank you for being here. Um, you can change the wiring of your brain. You can. The number is scrolling down. We are looking to have a discussion with you. Give us a call or send us an email about how you can enroll in the program. Don't you want to live your best life? Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired of some of the outcomes you're getting? Spending days locked in thought, bad thought. People are spending years locked in mental illness. We're saying today that you don't have to live in that existence. There is mental wellness. You can be well every day. And every day can be better and will be better than the day before. I thank you for your time. Next week, I will have, when we come to the show, I will have my Facebook page. I've not completed it. I have a page now, but I'm going to set up a special page for mental wellness and an opportunity. Again, I like I shared with you last week. I know there's a shortage, as it were, of therapists, and they cover things, and things that they bring up things that always don't make you feel your optimum. Well, what we do as coaches, we teach you to think. As I said, your thinking patterns change for the better. Your expectations, you control more your outcomes. That's what we do. And it is a 5 week uh, mental, it's a 5 week mental wellness program. The core being, we show you how to detoxify your brain and give you support in doing that. We teach you, uh, and we can do it right from your home. It's, as you have me here, we'll meet weekly. We will have meet weekly on Zoom with the group, and we will talk together one on one every week. You're going to have a program, and if you follow or when you follow the program, the outcome is guaranteed. The outcome is guaranteed. Telephone number 240-626-6849. You can reach me at my email, heart, mind, connection, one word, at iCloud.com. Again, there is a direct connection between your mind and your mind and your well being. Thank you for this time. Um, thank you. Have a good, productive day. Thank you.
Thank you so much for spending time with DWendell today. We hope you're uplifted, energized, and ready to go. See you next week, same time, same place.